I'm Miss Joanne from Church by the Sea with Ms Valerie. And we're so happy to be with you again and know you had a wonderful weekend. Some of you celebrated Halloween and some of you celebrate Hooray for Today. It's always fun to be with your friends and love each other, share each other, and know that together you're going to make a world a better place. Our story today is about a generous woman. I guess you're wondering, what is a generous woman? Well, let's think about it. You think it's like maybe the woman, Wonder Woman? I don't think so. I think it's a person who cares so much for people. And it's a story about an old woman who was all alone, didn't have a lot of money. And she was a Wonder Woman in a way that she was thoughtful in the way she wanted to give things to everybody. So let's bow our heads and fold our hands and open our hearts. Thank you, God, for always caring for us. And thanks for all those that care for us other than you, which are many in our community. May we learn and be filled in our hearts with our love for you and everyone in the world, that we might love you and others and ourselves as we grow closer and closer to God's way of living. And now, amen.
Amen.
And let's find out about the generous woman. Today's story about the generous woman might make us wonder, as I said, about, was it a Wonder Woman? Well, she was an old woman all by herself with no money, no job, no family. But she had saved something that she wanted to contribute on the day that everybody brought their money to the church. But she only had 2 coins. And she noticed everyone that brought the money for the collection had a tremendous amount of money, lots of money. And she felt very embarrassed about the situation that she found herself in. She saw them giving a lot. And when anyone says a lot, they think so much it has to be money. And actually, there's so many ways that you can give other than just the money. She was hoping to, but there's just no way that she could. She realized that so many other people gave big amounts of money, and her little 2 coins were not going to look like much to anybody there, particularly if Jesus happened to see it. So sometimes we do big things, and sometimes we do little things. But the important thing is that we do things. When we know of things that we can be helpful. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be an absolute wow. It's that you give, that you're thinking of others. So let's start our story today and see what really happened on this day. And remember the word generous, that it means that you're giving of your time, giving of your help and assistance in carrying packages, giving of a hello, how are you feeling today? So it's not just money, it's you can do something, that you do something. So once there was a very poor woman. Her husband had died. She lived all alone, and it was hard for her to find work. It was hard for her to buy the things that she needed, much less to be thinking of others. She had very, very little money. In fact, when this story happened, she was carrying only 2 coins.
Now, this woman loved God with all her might. And one way that she showed that love to God was by giving an offering in the temple. And that's where she was going with those 2 coins. She climbed the long, steep steps. Then she sat down and rested for a moment. While she was sitting there, she noticed many other people passing by, and putting their money into the treasury box.
Some people bought large amounts of money and put into the box.
Some people brought huge amounts of money.
Some people brought even more money than that.
The woman looked at her 2 coins and she began to wonder, what could God do with my 2 small coins? Then very quietly she walked up and put those 2 coins into the box. That is all that she had. She bowed her head, said a short prayer to God, and walked back down the steep steps of the temple. No one noticed her.
But wait. Someone did. Someone did notice her. Jesus was in the temple. And Jesus stopped, noticed what the woman had done. After she left, Jesus turned to his disciples. Look, did you see how generous that poor woman was? She was giving more than all of the other people. She has given all that she could, to God. She has shared everything that she had. It's wonderful to be a generous friend that is happy to help us in any way at any time. You are being generous with your talent when you teach someone something, or you show someone how to knit, like Ms Valerie does, or when you help us even teach them a song or a way to play a game. You might want someone to go to your church with you. That would be fun. And you might take some of the things that you could offer other than just money. And some of you do receive what we call as an allowance, and you can choose what you want to do with that. So if that's something you would like to do, that's a nice thing to do. But there are many, many other things that you can do. But that's something that happens in churches and other places. You give your help financially, which would be, even if it's 2 coins, that's always helpful. So that is something you might want to plan for during the week, so you'd be prepared for the church. There are so many ways for you to show that you care for people, that you're generous. You're generous in spirit. You're generous in your own feeling of how happy you are. You're generous in being helpful. So today, Ms. Valerie is going to show you some ways that you can think of your own idea of what is generous. So Ms. Valerie, you want to tell us about what wonderful things we can do?
Yes, that's always a good reminder. You know, I think I need to be more generous with sharing thanks and hope with the people I spend time with or meet during the day. We can be generous with our time, our ideas, our talents, and our knowledge. Excuse me, being generous with all of these talents is probably more important than being generous with money. You know, sometimes I hear people say, but she copied my idea. And it's like,
oh no.
Isn't that a compliment that somebody thinks you had such a good idea? I would like to make it for myself. And sometimes I think that's why we need to be more generous.
Exactly.
Because I think, you know, it's don't worry about it. It's a compliment that you have done something so good that everybody thinks, what a great idea, let's do it too. So sharing all the gifts that we are blessed with is perhaps what God intended us to do. So I have a little craft today, and it's actually to do with a special day coming this week. It's November 11th, and it's called Remembrance Day. And it's a very special day here in America and in England, and I think many countries around the world celebrate it because it's the day that we remember all of the people who have gone and helped fight to keep our world safe and secure and the way we want it. So I think it's a nice thing for us to celebrate this week. So what I made today for us is a poppy, because the poppy is the flower of remembrance. And so sometimes I think if you see people, sometimes they wear a little poppy on the week of Remembrance Day. So instead of making something to wear, I made some little poppies and I put them in a little vase here. And so I thought I would have those around my house during this week. And I thought if you could ask your parents if somebody in your family or somebody they know had been a soldier or a sailor or an airman, and you could write their name on your poppy. And then, you know, just keep a little vase of poppies in your house during the week. So to make the poppies, you're going to need some construction paper, red for the poppy and green for the stem. And all you need to do is to make a little circle on the paper and then cut it out. What I did, which I think sort of helped make it look more like a flower, was I took the circle and then I just folded it in half. And then I folded it again. And then sort of put your nails and make it. And then you fold it one more time if you like. And that's like each one of the folds could be a petal. So it gave it a little, what do I say, a little dimension. It wasn't quite flat, so that it would have a sort of shape. And then there's always a little black seed, as it were, in the middle of the poppy. So you need to have your scissors and your glue stick or other kind of glue that will stick. And then you just put it in the middle and then you just pop in the little black center of the poppy. Now, if you have some green pipe cleaners, that'll be fine. But I thought, what do I have to make a stem? And so I looked in my closet and I thought, oh, I have some straws. I have a lot of straws. I will now, but they look better green. I guess, you know, red and white wouldn't be bad, but
No,
so
very colorful.
I did take the construction paper. If you want to make it green, little green construction paper, just put lots of glue on it. Actually, if you've got a little, you know, the squeezy glue, it might be more efficient than this. But anyway, put lots of glue on it. And then what you do is you put your, you can't see, can you? So you put your, you know, you put all the glue, then you put your straw on it, and then you just roll it over. And then hold it for a minute to make sure it's glued. Now this one I did already, so I'm going to cut that one out. And then you just cut it off. And then you have a green stem. Or, you know, if you want a red and white, I don't see any reason why not. And then you just take your poppy that you have made and you just glue it on to the little green stem that you have made. And then everybody in your family could make a poppy. And I think it would be really sweet if you had, you know, a name of your grandfather, maybe. I have cousins when I think that they were quite young, but when they were like 19, they joined the Women's Air Force and they served in the war. So, you know, I'm sure everybody knows somebody, maybe somebody today. It's just nice to remember even the people who are keeping our country safe and serving around the world and in the country today. And then you can make a little vase and you have your little week of the poppies. And that will be, I think it's Thursday. Next week will be Remembrance Day. And nice day to remember people that did a lot of things to keep us all safe and living in freedom. So it's always good to remember people who have given and been very generous of giving of themselves to do things for other people. So do you have any angels this morning, Miss Joanne?
I do. Ones that I think we think of often every time our lesson comes up. It's sort of an awakening of how fortunate we are to live where we live and have so many things that we do have, that it's a time of being grateful for how much we have and how much people have protected us and guided us, and that we're fortunate to live as we do in God's way.
I had one similar to that. I didn't do gratitude this time, but I did contentment. And I think that's important, to be content with what we have. We spend a lot of time wishing that we had more, that we had a bigger car, that we had lots of more shoes, more this. But you know what? To be content with all that we have makes us feel very happy, I think. So I think being, like you say, gratitude and being content go very well together. And knowing how very blessed we are and fortunate, definitely.
The abundance that we have.
Yes, I looked at that angel today and I thought about that. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? And
it really is. I think it's very makes you feel what you experience. Yes. Abundance, we have so much. And
when you think of you know, how abundant, you know, our lives are full of abundance. We have so much to be happy with. It's a beautiful word, and I think I say that I have an abundance of everything that
I live abundantly, and we do.
Yes, we do. We really do. Yes. I think sometimes I really see a picture of somebody like a school or a group of people who've got together and they've noticed that somebody's been walking to work every day, or, you know, a long journey every day, and they have given them a bicycle or they have given them a car or something. And I think that is being really, really generous, because you have the problem and then got together with other people. And sometimes, you know, it works very well if you join together with other people and all the same idea together. And then, you know, when you see the joy of that person, that makes everything worthwhile. Just that is just such a generous spirit. All right. So I think we all have an abundance of everything that we need today and every day. So shall we end today with a prayer?
I think that's a good idea.
Dear God, help me to be a generous person. Remind me to remember all the wonderful things I have in my world, and help me share lovingly with those who aren't so blessed. Amen. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Enjoy the cooler weather.
You're right.